Hello, this is Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of the Perception Diet, and today I want to talk to you about karma. I want to talk to you about what karma actually is. I want to explain to you how to live in a way where you no longer fear karma, where you're no longer looking for forgiveness or looking to right your past wrong so that bad things won't happen to you. And I want to explain the difference between karma and dharma and how you can start to live your dharma rather than your karma. Okay, so first things first, what do most people think karma is? So most of us believe that karma is some cosmic retribution for our actions, okay? So this can be positive or negative, but most of us believe that I say this in a way that I want you to kind of think about this, because I don't think that most people are fully consciously aware that this is how they're thinking. But if you were to just kind of step back and really dissect your belief systems and dissect why you believe what you believe, or what you really believe, you might find that you fall into this category that I'm about to talk about here, which is most of us believe that there is a right and a wrong way to do things, that there's a right and a wrong way to live, that there's a right and a wrong way to be. And we believe that when we do the right thing, when we live right, when we do what is right, good things are going to happen for us. And we believe that when we do the wrong thing, when we do bad things, when we do things that are wrong, that bad things happen to us, okay? And so most of us are living some level of believing that there's some cosmic check system, right, for doing the right thing and doing the wrong thing. And so when you do the wrong thing, there's at some point down the line, either close to where you are now or in the future, there's going to be some sort of punishment, some sort of payback that you're going to have to pay. And when you do the right thing, you will be rewarded at some point down the line. And we see this pretty much in every kind of belief system that exists on the planet. Everything from Christianity down to New Age spiritual people. It's like everyone believes in this right and wrong, and everyone believes in this I'm going to be punished or blessed based on my actions, right? So like if we look at more kind of traditional religious thinking in the West, right? This is like sin and what happened, being punished for sin, and blessing for doing the right thing, right? For being a good person. And then, like I say, in Buddhism we see it in this karma cycle, the wheel of karma. It's pretty much this is a very prevalent idea. Okay, so like I say, because of this, and because there is no, in our perception, way to say this is right and this is wrong. You see what I'm saying? There's no ultimate rule book that we've all decided upon that says this is the right way to live, this is the wrong way to live. And therefore, karma is very transparent because we all are on the same page about what is right and what is wrong, and therefore we're all on the same page about what's going to cause punishment and what's going to give us reward. Because of this, we have a deep sense of confusion and a deep sense of resistance to life. And most of us are walking around constantly on guard for the punishment that is sure to befall us because we know we've made a mistake somewhere in there, right? Or we're constantly trying really, really hard to do the right thing all the time and be a good person, And then when something like, a good thing happens to a bad person or a bad thing happens to a good person, we get all confused because we're like, that doesn't align with our belief system. That doesn't align, like why did the person who ate healthy and never smoked and never drank and took care of themselves die of cancer at 50, and the dude that smoked like a chimney and drank like a crazy person and beat his wife live to the ripe old age of 90 and have money in his account when he retired? Like, what's the deal with that? You see, karma didn't work, right? And this is what I want to say today, is that entire system is not how it works, okay? And the thing that I could say about this, and this is why I said in our perception, we don't have a clear view of what is right and what is wrong. Because the way we're looking at the world and the way we're looking at life is out of alignment with the truth. So it doesn't align with the belief system that we have, and therefore it creates dissonance and we struggle, right? So if karma actually worked in that there's a right way and a wrong way to live life, and when you do the right thing, good things happen, and when you do the wrong thing, bad things happen, if that actually were the case, right, life would be simple. We would have figured out by now, after how many thousands of years of being alive, what was the right thing and what was the wrong thing, because it would, like, the results would have been duplicable every time. You see what I'm saying? Every time somebody did this, this would happen. Every time someone did this, this would happen. It would be obvious, it would be clear, and we would all be able to live that way. But because that doesn't actually work, like I said, there's the people that smoke all their lives, never get cancer, nothing bad ever happens to them, they live till they're 90 and they're like in relatively good health. And then there's the person that seems to live a healthy lifestyle and then they die when they're 50. It doesn't work. Okay, so that's the first thing to understand. That in order to move to the mindset that I'm going to give you here, you first have to question and really take a look at reality to see if your belief system aligns with what's actually happening. And I'm going to say that for 99.99% of the people out there, it doesn't, right? That's why we get so confused, and that's why we get so crazy. And this is why, some of us out there are living incredibly paranoid lives where we're constantly on top of ourselves to try and do the right thing because we're so afraid of doing the wrong thing because we don't want something bad to happen to us, right? This is still the bottom line of it. The reason that we even play in this karmic game at all is because we don't want, number one, bad things to happen to us. So we're hoping that we can control ourselves and therefore control our environment so that only good things happen to us. And two, we never want to think of ourselves as being a bad person. Of course we don't want to think of ourselves as being a bad person because that's painful and that hurts. So we bend over backwards and we do all these mental gymnastics and we do all this crazy shit to try to do the right thing and be a good person because, yeah, we only want good things to happen to us. We want to avoid pain, and we want to avoid pain in our own self-perception that we are a good person. So that's how most people think it works. That's what most people are doing, and it doesn't work, okay? Because like I said, if it did work, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. It would be obvious, it would be plain, it would be clear. This is what's right, this is what's wrong, here's how we live so that only good things happen to us, here's how we live so that no bad things happen to us, and it's easy, right? But that's not how it is, and everyone has their own opinion of what is right, and everyone has their own opinion of what is wrong. And there are, like I said, spiritual traditions, religious traditions, educational traditions, governmental traditions that all say, okay, this is right, and then there's something else out there that says, no, that's totally wrong, this is right. And we don't have agreement because we're operating under a false system. Okay, so now what's the real system? So the real system is the first things first is, in the universe, there's no such thing as right and wrong. There's no such thing as right and wrong. There's no such thing as right and wrong. There is no good. There is no bad. There simply is what is in alignment with life and what is out of alignment with life. Okay? And, again, just to give you a little mind fuck, it is not right or good to be in alignment with life, and it is not wrong or bad to be out of alignment with life. All right? So let's take a look at an example in nature, because this usually helps us. Oh, right. The second thing that I want to say before we go on. So there's no such thing as good, there's no such thing as bad. There's an alignment with life, there's out of alignment with life. Neither of these two things are preferable. They're just two different experiences that you can have. Second thing, unity is. We are all united, and therefore, what you do has a direct or an indirect effect on everyone and everything else. Okay? There's no such thing as an isolated event. There's no such thing as you doing something that only affects you and has no effect on everyone else. Which means everybody else has an effect on you. Okay? So the 3D reality experience of the actual shit that takes place in your life, the circumstances, okay? The the like 3D things, the you having food on your table, your house gets burnt down, the job that you go to, that is partly you, your vibration, what you're doing, the choices that you're making, your perceptions, but it's also partly what everyone else is doing, okay? So this means that, okay, and this is not to say that you're a victim to your circumstance, because life is operating in a way that supports life, right? This play is taking place, so nothing ever befalls you that's not supposed to, all right? So again, these are kind of like deep things to look at, but we're just going to explore this together, and then I want you to go away and think about it, all right? Because again, it's either that or kind of live in this fear of right and wrong and be super confused and always like wondering if you're doing the right thing, and if, you know, in 10 years you're going to get in a car accident because you accidentally, you know, or because you like stole something 10 years ago. You see what I'm saying? That's the other option. So just take some time to think about this, okay? So there's no right or wrong. We are unified. Unity is what it is, whether you are perceiving it or not. It is a reality. Just like whether you believe in gravity or not, it's a reality. You are being under the effect of gravity, whether you understand it or you don't, okay? So if we look at a cancer cell, a cell that's gone rogue, a cell that said, fuck the ecosystem, fuck the body, I'm going to do what I want to do, I'm going to have exponential growth, I'm going to destroy everything around me so that I can be the most powerful and gain the most, right? Is it karma that eventually kills that cancer cell? Or is it that either the overall body, the ecosystem of the cancer cell, right, the life that supports the cancer cell, either that life kicks the cancer cell out, right, so we do something, we take chemotherapy, we change our diets, we do whatever we need to do, so that the life of the body overpowers the life of the cancer cell that is technically antithetical to life, right? Or the cancer cell wins in the short run, but then kills its own ecosystem, and therefore kills itself, because once the body dies, there's nothing to feed the cancer cell, and the cancer cell also dies, right? So you see what I'm saying here? The cancer cell that's gone rogue, so the cancer cell that is now out of alignment with that which supports life, right? Understanding that the cell is one part of the body, and because whatever happens in one cell affects the entire body, right? If the cell behaves in a way that's out of alignment with the support of the entire ecosystem of the body, either the body is going to overpower it, reabsorb that cell, right? Make it into something else, so essentially killing the cancer cell and then recycling it into something new, or the cancer cell will take over, it will win, technically, but in winning, it will destroy its own environment and therefore destroy itself. So what we see here is that, again, there's no such thing as right or wrong. It's not right to be living in alignment with life. It's not wrong to be living out of alignment with life. It's just that when you live out of alignment with life, you are cutting yourself off from your own life force. And therefore, you are cutting yourself off from your own power, and therefore, you are hurting yourself. Okay? Now, why would we do this? Here is where the difference between karma and dharma happens. Okay? So, when humans are living in karma, so when we are living in a state where we believe that things in life can happen that are not supposed to happen, so we are afraid of bad things happening, or we are afraid of being a bad person, right? Where we look at a circumstance, any circumstance, and feel resistance towards that. That shouldn't have happened, that shouldn't be happening, or this thing should have happened that isn't happening. We know that we have a perception of ourselves that is out of alignment with the truth of who we are. Okay? This is what creates karma. It is the separation that says there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with who I am. I am not fundamentally, foundationally God. Okay? When that is our perception of ourselves, from there, we behave in a way that will take us out of alignment with the natural laws of the universe. Okay? It clouds our perception, it separates us out from this unity that exists, and we start to behave like the cancer cell. Now, this is generally unconscious because we're not aware of that first division that happened. We're not aware of that first splinter that happened. We're not aware that we foundationally, fundamentally do not believe we are good people. But when we are operating under that assumption that there's something wrong with us, that something is out of alignment with who we are, that something is not right with us, this we see in our world, right? So now things that happen to us shouldn't be happening, things that do happen to us shouldn't be happening, or things that didn't happen should happen, right? Our perception becomes clouded of our circumstances, and then we make choices that start to be self-destructive, right? So any and all self-destructive behavior comes from a foundational belief that there's something wrong with you. And that's how we step into karma. That's how we step into either trying to take over and take from people around us, and therefore cutting ourselves, stealing from others, hurting others, trying to be for yourself, this dominant kind of ego state, right? Or it causes us to go into the inferior ego, where we don't give to ourselves, we cut ourselves off from life, we sacrifice ourselves, we martyr ourselves out, and both ways, right? Because of unity, we're either cutting ourselves off from our life force, which hurts us, or we're, living in a way where we're damaging other people, which always comes back to us because we are all connected. We are all one. You cannot harm the ecosystem without harming yourself, just like the cancer cell, okay? So, and just like a cell in the body, if it decides, okay, I'm going to martyr myself out, I'm not going to take anything because I want the other cells to have stuff, and it dies, that doesn't actually help the body. You see what I'm saying? The body needs all the cells to be working together towards life. And that is Dharma. So when we step out of this belief system that says there's something wrong with me, and we start to unify ourselves from within, we do these kind of thought work, we do this kind of healing work on ourselves, where we start to change our perceptions of ourselves, so that we come to a place where we realize there never has been and never could be anything wrong with us. There never has been, there never could be anything broken within us. First thing that happens is we stop self-sabotaging. And this is possible. This is a real thing. We start to become very clear on what supports life and what doesn't, okay? These understandings will start to come to you. What before was confusing, like what's life generating, what is it, I don't really understand, starts to become clear. The perceptions of the, confusion lift as you become clearer about who you are. And from there, you no longer perceive anything outside of yourself as being wrong, because you don't perceive anything inside of yourself as being wrong. So now this doesn't mean that bad things stop happening to you, okay? Monks still have friends that die. You could still get into a car accident, But your perception of that thing that happens to you is going to be so different, okay, that you will not suffer in the same way that you suffer when you're in karma. You will be in a state of allowing of life where everything blesses you, okay? So you will then no longer be harming yourself, so causing undue harm. So you're not going to be drinking, you're not going to be smoking, you're not going to be doing all these crazy things that harm the body and harm yourself. So that decreases suffering by 1,000,000%, right? And then life still happens because we are all connected, and therefore everyone doing everything that they're doing is still having an effect on your reality. So you're not the only one. It's not like once you get totally unified, nothing bad happens to you, because we're all connected. And there is a plan and there's a path and things are still going to happen. But your perception of it is going to be completely different. You're going to be free. All right? So that's that. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, find me on Facebook, Perception Trainers, Instagram, ally_Perception Trainers. Join us on Patreon, and we're going to have another really long conversation about this. And I will talk to you in the next video. Mwah.